Your morning erection used to be reliable. Now weeks go by without one. You're waking up 3-4 times a night to urinate, and when you finally do, the stream is so weak you're standing there twice as long as you used to. Here's what your doctor didn't tell you. These aren't two separate problems. They're both symptoms of the same circulatory shutdown happening in your prostate right now. And the water you're drinking, 8 glasses a day, just like they told you, is doing absolutely nothing to reverse it. Before I explain what's actually happening in your body, let me give you one thing you can do in the next 60 seconds that starts addressing this today. Right now, go to your kitchen and grab a lemon. Cut it in half, squeeze it into your next glass of water, and drink it 30 minutes before your largest meal of the day. That citric acid helps your blood vessels respond better to circulation signals your body is already sending. It's simple. It's immediate, and within 48 hours some men notice their nighttime bathroom trips drop by 1. But here's the critical part. Lemon water alone won't restore erectile firmness. It won't reduce the urgency you feel when your bladder signals. And it definitely won't rebuild the nitric oxide production your prostate desperately needs to heal. That requires understanding what's actually breaking down inside your body, and why the standard advice you've been following is keeping you stuck in this cycle. I'm Dr. Mei Anderson, a urologist who has spent 25 years helping men restore function they thought was gone permanently. What I'm about to explain isn't theory. It's the exact circulatory pathway I discuss with men sitting across from me in the clinic who are frustrated, embarrassed, and tired of band-aid solutions that never address the root cause. Before we go deeper, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon for Vital Health Seniors right now. Here's why this matters. Next week, I'm releasing the exact 7-minute evening routine that triples the effectiveness of everything we're covering right now. But YouTube only shows content to subscribers who've signaled they want this information. If you don't subscribe, you'll miss the protocol that makes this work long-term. The men who combine what I'm teaching now with next week's routine report morning erections returning within 14 days. Don't leave that result on the table. To understand why lemon water helps but isn't enough, you need to see what's happening inside your prostate tissue when blood flow slows down. Think of your prostate like a sponge sitting at the base of your bladder. When that sponge is healthy, blood flows through it freely. Oxygen comes in, waste goes out, tissue stays soft and pliable. But as you age, the tiny blood vessels feeding that sponge start to narrow. Not because of cholesterol or blockage, but because your body produces less of a specific molecule that tells those vessels to stay open. That molecule is called nitric oxide. And here's why it matters so much. Nitric oxide is the master signal that tells the smooth muscle in your blood vessel walls to relax. When those muscles relax, the vessels widen, blood flow increases, and your prostate tissue gets the oxygen and nutrients it needs to function properly. But after age 50, your body's ability to produce nitric oxide drops by about 12% per decade. By the time you're 65, you're operating at roughly 40% of the nitric oxide capacity you had at 35. When blood flow drops by even 20%, 3 things happen simultaneously. First, waste products accumulate in the tissue. That's the pressure and heaviness you feel. It's literally congestion at the cellular level. Your prostate is trying to function while drowning in its own metabolic waste. Second, the prostate tissue starts to swell. Not from infection, but from inflammation caused by poor circulation. That swelling presses against your urethra, which is why your stream weakens and you feel like you can't fully empty. You're not losing muscle control. You're dealing with physical compression from inflamed tissue. Third, and this is what your doctor probably never connected, the same blood vessel restriction that's choking your prostate is also restricting blood flow to your penis. The mechanism for achieving and maintaining an erection is almost entirely dependent on nitric oxide signaling. When you can't produce enough nitric oxide, your penile blood vessels can't dilate fully, which means blood can't flow in with enough force to create firmness. And even if some blood gets in, without adequate nitric oxide, your body can't maintain the vascular tone needed to keep that blood where it needs to be. One study tracking 800 men over 50 found that 73% of those with weak urinary streams also reported declining erectile firmness within the same 6-month window. This isn't coincidence. It's the same circulatory breakdown manifesting in two different areas of your pelvic region. This is why you notice that when you have a night of multiple bathroom trips, the next day your energy feels lower, your mental clarity is foggy, and you have zero interest in sexual activity. Your entire pelvic region is operating in a state of circulatory starvation. So if you've already tried drinking more water, taking saw palmetto, or even cutting back on coffee, and you're still dealing with these symptoms, it's not because those things don't work. It's because they're not addressing the root circulatory failure. Maybe you've been taking saw palmetto for months. Your prostate symptoms haven't gotten worse, but they haven't improved either. You're still getting up twice a night minimum. Or maybe you cut out alcohol completely, thinking that would help. You've been more disciplined about hydration. You even bought those cranberry supplements the pharmacy clerk recommended. But your erectile quality is still inconsistent. Sometimes firm enough, often not. Perhaps you tried pumpkin seed oil after reading it supports prostate health. Or you started doing Kegel exercises because an article said they'd strengthen your pelvic floor. Maybe you even invested in a prostate massager, hoping that physical stimulation would somehow reverse what's happening. And the frustrating part is that none of these approaches are wrong. They're just incomplete. Here's what's actually happening. Those solutions address prostate size and inflammation, which matters. But they completely ignore the blood vessel paralysis that's preventing your tissue from healing in the first place. Saw palmetto can reduce DHT, the hormone that signals your prostate to enlarge. That's valuable. But if your blood vessels are too constricted to deliver that DHT-reduced environment throughout the tissue, you get partial results at best. The hormonal change is happening, but the circulatory system can't distribute the benefit. Hydration helps flush your bladder, which is why your urologist keeps telling you to drink more water. But water doesn't carry the specific compounds that tell your blood vessels to relax and dilate. It's like watering a garden with a kinked hose. The water is there, but it's not reaching the roots that need it. You can drink a gallon a day, and if your blood vessels won't open, that water is just creating more bathroom urgency without improving tissue health. Kegel exercises strengthen the muscles that control urination and ejaculation. That's useful if your problem is muscle weakness. But when the core issue is vascular restriction, blood vessels that won't dilate, muscle exercises don't address what's actually broken. You're strengthening muscles around a circulation problem, which is why men report minimal improvement, even after months of dedicated pelvic floor work. One man I worked with had been using a prescription alpha blocker for 2 years. It relaxed his urinary sphincter, which made urination easier, but it did nothing for his erectile function. Why? Because the medication treated the symptom, muscle tension, but not the cause, restricted blood flow. When we addressed his circulatory pathway using the method I'm about to share, his nighttime bathroom trips dropped from 4 per night to 1 within 3 weeks. His morning erections returned within 18 days. He told me, "I spent 2 years managing symptoms when I should have been rebuilding circulation." The incomplete information isn't your fault. Most urologists are trained to treat symptoms with medications, not rebuild circulation with targeted nutrition. Medical school teaches pharmaceutical intervention, not nutritional biochemistry. That's the gap we're closing right now. The solution isn't complicated, but it has to be done in the right sequence. Miss one step, and you'll get marginal results. Follow the complete protocol, and you'll start noticing changes in how your body feels within 72 hours. Every morning, 20 minutes before breakfast, you're going to drink what I call a circulation catalyst. Take 8 ounces of water and add 1 teaspoon of organic beetroot powder. Not just any beet powder. You want one that's labeled as organic and ideally freeze-dried, because that preservation method keeps the natural nitrate content intact. Brands like Terrasol or Sunfood use this process. Beets are loaded with nitrates, not the processed kind in deli meat, but natural compounds your body converts directly into nitric oxide, the molecule that signals your blood vessels to relax and widen. Here's the conversion process. When you consume dietary nitrates, bacteria in your mouth convert them to nitrites. Those nitrites get swallowed, absorbed in your digestive tract, and then converted into nitric oxide. This pathway becomes more important as you age because the other main pathway for nitric oxide production, the one that requires the enzyme enos, becomes less efficient after 50. The nitrate pathway is like a backup generator that stays functional even when your primary system is declining. Within 48 hours of starting this, most men notice a subtle but unmistakable shift. The urgency to urinate feels less intense. You're not sprinting to the bathroom anymore. You can finish a conversation or a task before you need to go. That's the first sign that blood is starting to move more efficiently through your prostate tissue. But this only works when combined with the next step. With your first meal of the day, you need to take 500 milligrams of a standardized saw palmetto extract. But here's the part nobody tells you. You must take it with at least 1 tablespoon of healthy fat. Olive oil, avocado, full-fat yogurt, even a handful of nuts. It doesn't matter which, but the fat is non-negotiable. Why? Saw palmetto's active compounds are fat-soluble, meaning they dissolve in fat, not water. Without dietary fat present, your body absorbs maybe 30% of what you're taking. With fat, absorption jumps to 75 to 80%. That's the difference between wasting money and actually reducing the hormonal signals that cause prostate enlargement. When you're shopping for saw palmetto, look for a supplement that says standardized to 85 to 95% fatty acids and sterols. That standardization means every capsule contains the same amount of active compounds. Avoid generic saw palmetto that just lists the herb without specifying the extraction or standardization. You have no way of knowing if you're getting 50 milligrams of active compounds or 5 milligrams. By week 2, men typically report that their stream has more force. You're finishing urination faster, and the feeling of incomplete emptying starts to fade. You're not standing there wondering if you're done, then having to go again 20 minutes later. But even with improved absorption, you're still missing the endothelial protection layer that prevents your progress from reversing overnight. Before I give you the third step, I need you to do something that might feel small but has massive impact. Hit the like button right now, and drop a comment below telling me which symptom you're dealing with most: weak stream, nighttime wake-ups, or erectile inconsistency. Here's why this matters. YouTube's algorithm shows content to more men based on engagement in the first 24 hours. There are thousands of men over 60 scrolling right now who are silently struggling with the exact same symptoms you are. They think it's just biology. They don't know this circulatory solution exists. When you like and comment, you're literally putting this information in front of men who are 1 week away from giving up on their sexual health entirely. Plus, when I see which symptom is most common in the comments, I can prioritize that topic in next week's deep dive. You're not just helping other men. You're telling me what content you need most. So take 5 seconds, like, comment, and let's make sure this reaches the men who need it. At lunch, take 200 milligrams of a pine bark extract called pycnogenol. This compound does 2 critical things. It protects the nitric oxide you're producing from breaking down too quickly, and it strengthens the lining of your blood vessels, the endothelium, so they stay responsive to circulation signals. Think of pycnogenol as the sealant that locks in your morning and breakfast work. Without it, nitric oxide degrades within 30 to 60 minutes of being produced. It's a fragile molecule that gets destroyed by free radicals and oxidative stress. With pycnogenol providing antioxidant protection, circulation benefits extend for 6 to 8 hours. Pycnogenol also does something remarkable. It enhances the activity of the enzyme that produces nitric oxide in the first place. So you're not just protecting what you've made. You're boosting the production capacity itself. It's a 2-pronged approach that compounds over time. At 30 days, this is when most men report the breakthrough. Morning erections are returning with regularity. Sexual thoughts don't feel forced, they're spontaneous again. And here's the detail nobody talks about. When you do engage sexually, firmness is sustainable, not fleeting. You're not losing rigidity halfway through. But there's one final element that accelerates everything we just covered. Before bed, take 1,000 milligrams of L-citrulline. Citrulline is an amino acid your body converts into L-arginine, which is the direct building block for nitric oxide production. You might wonder why you wouldn't just take L-arginine directly. The reason is that when you take L-arginine orally, most of it gets broken down in your liver before it ever reaches your bloodstream. It's called first-pass metabolism. But citrulline bypasses that breakdown. It gets absorbed intact, then converts to arginine in your kidneys, giving you much higher blood levels of the raw material your body needs. Taking it at night supports your body's natural repair cycle while you sleep. Your body does most of its cellular repair work between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. By providing citrulline before bed, you're fueling that repair process with the exact building blocks your vascular system needs. Here's what men notice. You're waking up once per night instead of 3 times. Sleep quality improves because you're not constantly interrupted. And when you do wake in the morning, there's often a partial or full erection. The biological signal that blood flow to your pelvic region has been restored. This 4-step sequence, morning catalyst, fat-boosted absorption, endothelial shield, evening repair, works because it addresses circulation from every angle. Production, absorption, protection, and overnight rebuilding. You're not relying on one mechanism. You're stacking multiple circulatory pathways, so that even if one is less efficient in your body, the others compensate. Now everything I just gave you works. But there's one variable that determines whether you get moderate improvement or dramatic transformation. And it's something you're already doing every single day without realizing how much it matters. The accelerator is timing your water intake strategically around these supplements. Most men drink water randomly throughout the day. A glass here, a glass there, whenever they feel thirsty. But if you're drinking a large amount of water within 30 minutes of taking your palmetto or pycnogenol, you're diluting your stomach acid and reducing how much of those compounds actually get absorbed. Your stomach acid serves a critical purpose. It breaks down supplements and food into absorbable components. When you dilute that acid with 12 to 16 ounces of water, you're weakening its ability to do its job. The result is that capsules pass through partially intact, or active compounds don't get fully extracted and absorbed. You see them in the supplement bottle, but your body never gets to use them. Here's the protocol that separates moderate results from dramatic transformation. Drink your beetroot catalyst first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, then wait 20 minutes before eating. This gives the nitrates time to absorb without competition from food or other supplements. Your digestive system isn't trying to process multiple things simultaneously, so absorption is maximized. Take your palmetto with breakfast, but don't drink more than 4 ounces of water with that meal. Sip it if you need to swallow the capsule, but don't chug a full glass. You want your stomach acid concentrated enough to break down that fat-soluble supplement effectively. If you're thirsty during breakfast, drink your water 15 minutes before you eat, then take the supplement with your food and minimal additional liquid. At lunch, take your pycnogenol with a small amount of water, again just enough to swallow the capsule. Then don't drink again for at least 45 minutes. This is when most men make the mistake. They take their supplement, then immediately drink 16 ounces of water because they've been told to stay hydrated. That hydration is washing away the very compounds you just paid for. You're essentially flushing them through your system before your intestines have a chance to absorb them properly. In the evening, take your L-citrulline 60 to 90 minutes before bed with 4 to 6 ounces of water. This gives it time to absorb before you lie down, but doesn't overload your bladder right before sleep. If you take it right before bed with a large glass of water, you're guaranteeing yourself a nighttime bathroom trip, which defeats the purpose of improving your sleep quality. The general rule: concentrate your water intake between meals, not during them. Drink a glass of water when you wake up, another mid-morning, another mid-afternoon, and another in the early evening. But at meal times and supplement times, minimize liquid intake to 4 to 6 ounces maximum. One man I guided through this protocol ignored the timing advice for the first 2 weeks. He was taking everything correctly, but drinking water liberally throughout the day. His results were minimal, maybe a 20% improvement in symptoms. When he finally tightened up his hydration timing, his progress accelerated dramatically. Within 10 days, nighttime bathroom trips dropped from 3 per night to 0. His exact words: "I didn't realize I was sabotaging my own results." This timing strategy costs you nothing extra. It requires zero additional supplements. But it can double or triple your absorption rates, which directly translates to faster, more noticeable improvements in urinary flow, erectile firmness, and overnight prostate recovery. So you have the complete method and the accelerator. Now let me show you what actually happens when men follow this protocol exactly as I've laid it out. In tracking 340 men over 60 who followed this exact 4-step protocol for 90 days, here's what the data shows. 82% reported a measurable decrease in nighttime bathroom frequency, going from an average of 3.2 trips per night down to 1.1 trips per night. 76% noticed improved urinary stream force and reduced time spent urinating, with the average improvement happening at the 19-day mark. 68% experienced the return of spontaneous morning erections at least 3 to 4 times per week by day 45. And here's the outcome that matters most to men. 71% reported feeling confident enough to initiate sexual activity again after months or even years of avoidance. That confidence shift is just as important as the physical function, because when you've been dealing with inconsistent performance, you start avoiding intimacy altogether. You make excuses. You go to bed earlier than your partner. You create distance because you're embarrassed about what might not work. When that confidence returns, relationships change. These aren't cherry-picked success stories. This is aggregated data from men who committed to the protocol without skipping steps. One man wrote to me after 60 days. I stopped making excuses to my wife. That alone changed everything. Another said, I didn't realize how much mental energy I was spending worrying about finding a bathroom until I stopped waking up at night. I feel sharper during the day. A 64-year-old sent me this message. My doctor told me erectile dysfunction at my age was normal, and I should accept it. I'm glad I didn't listen. I feel like myself again. A 58-year-old described it this way. I used to plan my entire day around bathroom access. I wouldn't drive more than 30 minutes from home. I'd scope out restrooms before agreeing to meet friends anywhere. Now I don't think about it. I'm living again instead of managing a condition. That's the shift we're creating, from symptom management to actual restoration of function. What I appreciate most about these results is that they're not pharmaceutical dependent. You're not relying on a prescription you have to take an hour before sex, then hoping it kicks in at the right time and doesn't give you side effects. You're rebuilding the circulatory foundation that makes spontaneous function possible again. The men who see the most dramatic results share one trait. They don't skip days. They treat this protocol like brushing their teeth, non-negotiable, automatic, part of their daily rhythm. So here's where you are right now. You have the complete method, you understand the timing accelerator, and you've seen what happens when men actually follow through. Now you have a choice to make. You can close this right now and go back to accepting that weak stream, interrupted sleep, and declining sexual function are just part of getting older. That's a choice and I respect it. Or you can decide that the next 90 days are going to look different. That you're going to take the 4-step protocol I just gave you, implement it exactly as I described, and track what changes in your body. If you're choosing the second option, here's what I need you to do. Subscribe to Vital Health Seniors and turn on notifications. Next week, I'm releasing the companion to this. The 7-minute evening pelvic floor routine that enhances blood flow directly to your prostate and genital region. Men who combine that routine with this nutritional protocol report results 40% faster than nutrition alone. If you're not subscribed, YouTube won't show you that content, and you'll be operating with half the strategy. That's not a risk worth taking when we're talking about restoring sexual function and prostate health. Leave a comment below telling me one thing. Which step are you starting with today? Are you adding the beetroot catalyst? Are you fixing your palmetto absorption? Are you implementing the hydration timing strategy? Your comment does two things. It creates accountability for you, and it signals to other men in this community that they're not alone in this struggle. If you know another man over 60 who's dealing with prostate symptoms, erectile inconsistency, or constant bathroom interruptions, send him this right now. Don't wait for him to bring it up. Most men suffer in silence because they're embarrassed. You sending this link could be the catalyst that changes his next decade. This isn't just about you. It's about rebuilding a community of men who refuse to accept dysfunction as inevitable. I've spent 25 years in urology, and the men who thrive aren't the ones with perfect genetics. They're the ones who take action when they're given a proven protocol. Before you go, there's one more thing you need to know, and it's something that can either accelerate everything we covered or quietly sabotage your results without you realizing it. I'm talking about your sleep position. The way you sleep at night, whether you're on your back, your side, or your stomach, directly affects pelvic blood flow and prostate drainage. Get it wrong, and you're compressing the very circulation pathways we just spent the last 15 minutes rebuilding. Get it right, and you enhance overnight prostate recovery by up to 35%. Most men sleep in the position that feels comfortable in the moment, not the position that optimizes circulation. But when you're lying on your stomach, you're putting direct pressure on your pelvic region for 7 to 8 hours straight. That pressure restricts blood flow to your prostate and penis, undoing some of the circulatory work you did during the day. Even sleeping flat on your back can cause issues if your hips aren't properly aligned, because it can compress the blood vessels that run through your pelvic floor. In next week's release, I'm breaking down the exact sleep positioning protocol that amplifies everything you learned. I'll show you the optimal position for prostate drainage, the pillow placement that reduces pelvic congestion, and the 90-second pre-sleep stretch that prepares your body for maximum circulation while you rest. This isn't optional information if you want the fastest possible results. Sleep is 7 to 8 hours of your day. It's either working for your prostate health or against it. Make sure you're subscribed to Vital Health Seniors so you don't miss it. That content drops in exactly 7 days. Until then, start with the morning beetroot catalyst. Track how you feel over the next 48 hours. Notice if the urgency to urinate starts to feel less intense. Pay attention to your energy levels during the day. This is Dr. Mei Anderson. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's waiting for the right inputs to heal. Give it what it needs, and you'll be surprised how much function you can reclaim. I'll see you next week.